Hey everybody, Teddy J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? Yeah, not much. Hey, Mr. Big, what's going on, man? Over the past week, we published I think it was 98 articles. 98. Not bad. The United States is at war. No matter what anybody might think, no matter what anybody might say, the United States is at war. It's right now a three-country war. Israel, Iran, United States. And it's Israel and United States against Iran. What's going on, Hutanik? So, when you look at that, the immediate thing that I started thinking of, well, what could affect us in this war? Oil prices, geopolitical volatility, and we'll get to that in a moment. Supply chain disruption. Definitely energy and supply chain are going to hit inflation, regional instability, and then spill over from there. We have impact from various elections that are coming up. There's a lot. What's going on, Max? Hey, Paula, how are you? There's nothing good right now. Right now, the market is going to tank. The market is tanking right now. We were above 100, 106, 105, 104, 103, 102. Now we're down to 99. Okay? And this is before the markets open tomorrow. We're currently at 98,949. We're steadily tanking. There's nothing good going on right now. So what have I told you before that I was going to do? I'm probably going to dump, move into PaxG, wait it out. No, I'm not going to move into Tether, right? I'm not moving into USDT at the moment because it's tied to the US dollar and there could be things going on with that. I'm going to move into PaxG because during hard times, like during war, what pops up? Gold. So that's the strategy for right now. Let's not get it twisted. I'm probably going to have a little bit of USDT at hand. I'm going to wait for the dust to settle before I put more money in. But this war thing is absolutely no joke. What are the first things that could impact us from the war? Iran's retaliation. They can't hit the United States directly. They just don't have the tech. But what they can do is they can put our troops that are local in the Middle East, in harm's way. All unnecessary. But from an economic perspective, what can happen? They hit the oil fields in Iraq. That's what could happen. That would spike oil, probably at a global level. And that could cause, obviously, a problem. This was a bad move. And what I'm afraid of is that it was orchestrated and masked very well. I'm not going to get into the details, but Rick Ritchie, what's good? Thank you for letting me know that you have invested in yourself. So I don't mean to sound solemn or anything like that, but being at war for no reason, being at war is no good to begin with, but especially when you didn't have to be, that's a problem. The new regime has effed up, and I'm praying that we're strong enough not to have to find out. And by strength, I don't necessarily mean physical strength. I mean strength from within. Yeah. We're going to have to vote. Gold is not going down. It's better than stable in crypto speak. Yeah, I agree. But I need to have some money in stable coins. Why? So that when it finally hits a certain bottom, I'm ready to move quickly. Part of my PaxG will be held in trading wallets so that I can move quickly to make purchases. Remember, I believe PAXG is going to go up while other things are going down. And let me show you a little something. Let me show you a little something. I'm going to get my notes out of the way. Let you guys see my ugly mug while I go do this. Change screen. That would be nice. Take a look over here. So this is where we are in terms of what's up. What's on this list? Although it's under my 5% rule, PAXG is still in the green. It's going up, right? Everything on this side of the list has gone up. But if you're looking at 0.0 something, it hasn't moved, right? But you start to pay attention to things, at least I hope you do. And again, I'm looking at, you've got PAXG that have gone up. You've got Tether's gold that has gone up. Not a lot, but they've gone up. Something else I'm paying attention to. Are you not paying attention to Hyperliquid, which has gone up 5.62% with a GMBX factor of 0.35? Just saying. PAXG has a GMBX factor of 0.02. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Yeah, you do. So today could possibly wind up being a light day. Tomorrow, I think that once the Asian markets open up, we're going to see a much heavier dive. We were looking for a catalyst. I was hoping for a positive catalyst. This is a clearly negative catalyst. So we're going to go down. Simple as that. We're going down, right? So when I look at everything, I'm kind of like, damn. You know, this wasn't even the planned show. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff, you know, that we need to talk about. You've got regulatory development and legislation, market trends and volatility, institutional and corporate moves, technological innovations and projects, security and crime. You've got industry challenges and future outlooks. The other day, on Friday night flips, what happened? What happened? We were witness to the coin market cap hack. We saw it live because I clicked on refreshing the screen and we popped up with that MetaMask warning. Wow. Now, obviously, they've since recovered. They have actually recovered that night while we were still live. But they were hit that night while we were live. So imagine if somebody had come along and clicked that little back to safety button. That would have been a problem. Now, here's something else to kind of pay attention to. GitHub.io is actually controlled by GitHub. When you go there, it pushes you to pages. Well, you know, pages where they hold information about projects. That means to tell you that GitHub holds information about projects that are nefarious. That's not me making an allegation. That's me showing that we saw a fact. We saw a fact, right? So had we clicked that, my machine would have been compromised immediately. I didn't click it. Back to safety? Yeah, nah, we don't do that. You don't click jack. And then a minute later, CoinMarketCap was back. Anything and everything can be hacked. I called mid-80 a month ago before the war stuff. Yeah. I said 90, but that we could go lower. It's not about who called it. It's about why it's about, oh, it could happen, but nobody ever knew why it would happen. In the worst way, this is the worst thing that could happen. The worst thing. Yeah. So back to what LAG was saying. Yeah, tonight, the Asian markets are going to open. Things are going to tank. Things are going to tank. What am I going to be looking at? I'm going to be looking at any company that is a part of the war machine. Companies like Raytheon, you know what I mean? Anybody that makes armaments, logistics. I'm expecting companies like Palantir. So you had four technology, big tech executives get sworn in as lieutenant colonels in the armed forces, having never served. One, stolen valor. As far as I'm concerned, they haven't served this country at all. It's fake. It's fictitious. It's disgusting. But I say that because I have family that have served, not just during wartime, but in war. So to me, it's disgusting. Companies like Palantir, Meta, those executives getting sworn in, that's scary. That means they're privy to a lot of information, possibly beyond whatever Elon Musk rat was involved in. That's going to affect our bags. Let's not get it twisted. They're not thinking short term. They're thinking long term impact. Rick Ritchie did say that. Show me the charts, I'll show you the news. This is not news that you could have foreseen based on charts from way back then. Okay? Anybody can say, oh, well, there will be a macro event within X amount of time and that could bring it down. You've got a 50-50 chance of that being correct. Unfortunately, we're all correct. It's just that the macro event that I was expecting was not at this level. Scary. So protecting the bag, growing the bag. Yeah, I told you before what I was going to do. If any of you remember that, I just went over it again today. I'll be taking a lot of stuff out, putting it into Pax G. And then why would I do that? Oh, because I'm expecting it to tank more. So I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to stem the risk, right? And then I'll get back in when we finally find a bottom. People are asking me, why do I think this is scary? This regime can't even cut a freaking tariff deal with China. And now we're in a war. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Yo, Kenneth Mason, first time live. What's going on? What's good? So, yeah. No, I'm not in the mood for stupid jokes. But yeah, I'm looking at this as an unfortunate opportunity. An unfortunate opportunity to get out, wait. I mean, obviously, get out, get into something that's going to go up. And while everything else finds a freaking bottom and that's going up, that's where I'll be. Waiting to watch this and wait for this, right? Be as close to this as possible because things will wind up going back up. And you just want to be prepared for that. Neville F. Next week will be a horror movie. Neville, I feel bad for you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Right now, this is not something that I'm happy about. I'm not. The closest relative to me that served is my brother. Like I said, war veteran. Not sitting on the sidelines, in war. So, yeah. knowing that, now my nephew is serving. Kid is tough as nails. But I would do to him what I did to his father. He comes home, we're going to fight. I need to know that that boy's going to be okay. If I thought my brother couldn't protect himself, he knew I would retire him. I would have done something to make him have to retire. He knows it. He was always able to prove himself. So for all those that are serving right now, thank you. And I'm sorry. But in terms of our bags, not only is Iran a major oil producer, but they can strike Iraq fields or Iraqi fields. That could be a problem. Could they cause a problem in, the Strait of Hormuz? Without a doubt. Can we stop that? Maybe. That's going to affect the whole world. They didn't make an idle threat. They're dead serious. They're not making idle threats. Right? So we've got to take it serious. So if we have to take it serious, we have to think that oil is going to take a hit. If oil takes a hit, that's going to drive prices up all over the place, and not just for oil. So this whole time I've been telling you guys, have your dry powder ready. Have your safety plan, right? Economically. Have your safety plan. And right now is probably a great time to put that plan into action. Because maybe we go up. There you go. Yeah, that's, again, you know what? I'm just not in the mood for freaking jokes. I'm not in the mood for dumbass jokes. Not today. Not today. It's all too serious. And it hits too close to home. I literally just said, my nephew's in the Marines. I'm taking it dead serious. So again, I'm not one of those to be overly solemn or anything else like that. I'm just not in the mood to joke about it. Just not in the mood to joke about it. One of the reasons why I'm not in the mood to joke about it is because the FBI has been tracking sleeper cells, or has been trying to track sleeper cells here stateside. So yeah, no, I'm not joking. I had a conversation with one of my friends. We went to high school together. I mean, we've been friends. Woo! She's up there in years. We went to school together since junior high school. So I'm not going to say that she's old, but we've been friends for decades. That's probably going to cost me. That's probably going to cost me. Her son is here in New York. So I made sure that he has my number. So that if he needs me, I will be there. I remember, when everything went south, when the events at World Trade Center happened, there were major economic impacts from that. Eventually, we came out of it. But this is why I tell you guys to plan. To plan. Right now, I'm telling you, I do not think this market is going to go up anytime soon. It might pretend like it's going up, because not everything necessarily goes straight down. So it might go like this and like this a little bit and like this. But I'm paying attention. I am paying attention. So am I buying in right now? Not at all. I'm taking a step back, protecting what I have, right? I kept telling you guys, I kept adding the dry powder, adding the dry powder, adding the dry powder. This is why. Now, me and some other people, we had no idea what would actually be the catalyst to drop us down into the 90s, maybe even to the 80s. None of us. But we all have the common sense to know that, guess what? Nothing goes continuously up. Nothing goes continuously down. Right? Economically. So at some point, something was going to happen. Something was going to happen. It was going to drive it down. I thought it was going to be something economic. Right? Like companies starting to report that, next quarterly report, they're going to report poorly and like kind of front run the bad impacts from it and everything. I was expecting something like that. I was expecting unexpected job cuts. I was expecting things along that lot. So I thought, there was some cushion to when things would happen. Now you know why I'm kind of like, yeah. See how it is. Rick Ritchie, Monday? No, Lag was right. LAG was right. It's tonight. Asian markets will open up tonight. And then we're going to see everything just fall off a cliff. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be nuts. Excuse me. So when I start to think about what other preparation can we do, my dog is going nuts. I think he just got a bath. Yeah, he just got a bath. So Stitch is going crazy right now. Come here. Got to get him out of the office. So we'll see. What do you mean, are you being blocked? If you say something stupid, you're being blocked. Like if you're using stupid words or something like that, the system's going to block you. I have nothing to do with that. Well, except, curse words, stuff like that. But I don't think I have anything like that. Today's question, as usual, have you invested in yourself? And some are scared to invest. Let me address that now. I keep telling you guys, investing is a word that will throw you off because it starts with in. Remember, investing is not just putting money in. It's putting money in, pulling money out, knowing when to hold. Investing. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Those are 3 things I tell you to do. That's the GMB3. So being scared, totally get it. You're kind of like a deer in the headlights. You don't know what to do. That's why you rely on doing your own research. For me, I'm looking at this and I've told you guys what I'm going to do. I told you guys what I'm not going to do. I told you the time frame in which I'm going to do it, or how I'm going to create that time frame for how I'm going to do it. That's based on my risk framework. I've been trying to get you guys to develop your own risk framework. I published 2 books to help you actually start thinking along these lines. One was to give you a basic foundation on crypto and general investing, actually. And then I gave you another one on how to do your own research, knowing your entries and exits, and absolutely investing deliberately. I started giving you these things so you start to understand, oh, this is what we need to do. Because everybody's a rock star when the market's going up. And those people that are rock stars when the market's going up usually have jack to say. I felt my mother like right there, like waiting for me to go ahead, say it. But they usually tell you jack when the market's coming down. They're not necessarily providing you the tools to actually start thinking properly on how to do these things. So that's what we try to do. Let me see if I missed anything. Okay, Hutanik, unplug emotions, smart. The exit is Q3, go fishing. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. You always want to speak in definite terms. This is not something that's definite. What I would say is do your own research, figure out your risk framework, and figure out your timing. Come up with scenarios that would help you determine what would I do if. Now you're starting to calculate risk. Now, as you do those things, you're not just calculating risk, but you're also calculating what you could be doing to grow your bag. So as I told you guys, I said that what's the risk? Risk is obviously war. We've realized that risk. What else is there? Well, you could actually stop and look at, well, there are stocks, certain stocks that I could be purchasing that would also go up. Raytheon started going up. Hutanic pointed that out. Hutanic, correct me, a week ago? Week and a half ago? So when Israel did what they did, Hutanic was like, are you paying attention to that one? And he didn't mean just that one. He meant that whole sector. Or at least that's how I took it. When you open your mind up to things, and he's right. If you remove emotion from things, it might help you think better. So being scared of what? Of war? Okay, fine, that's natural. Of managing your bag? Why? Why? You have a whole community here that you can ask questions and figure it out. Safe space. Well, unless you're Hutanic or me, and because we pick on each other. It keeps us sharp. There's not a single time that I haven't snapped at, Hutanic that didn't make me stop and think. For me to snap back, I have to have thought about it. For him to snap back, he had to have thought about it. That hones your skills. Whether you agree with a point that's being made or not, it helps you hone your skills. Because before you can say anything in return or say anything outright, you have to think about it. In this community, that's really all we want you to do is think. Don't get flustered. Don't allow yourself to be flustered. Take a step back. Think about it. Don't be afraid to debate. Don't be afraid to debate. Debating somebody who knows a lot or feels strongly about something might help you grow. Dead serious. I feel like I missed a few things. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. I wonder who said that. It's not the first time he said that, by the way. My success has been due to being too stupid to quit. Not mine, that's Hutanic. Rick Ritchie, that's a good point. The quick drop could make for a better summer for the market since the cycle is different this time. Stop referencing the cycle is what I would first tell you to do. Stop referencing the cycle. You're not just talking about crypto. Too many of us, think about crypto all the time. And crypto this and crypto that and crypto. Have you not paid attention to what I tell you guys? I don't just talk about crypto. I'll give you news about crypto. But I don't just talk about crypto. I talk about investing. The GMB3 is applicable to investing, period. Excuse me. So don't just apply it to crypto. Crypto has a different mindset than stocks, that has a different mindset than buying into or selling or partnering for a business. That's why the GMB3 actually works for all three. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Works for all three. And the foundation, as always, do your own research. Snatch what up, Hutanic? Red candles make you more bullish. You should be careful with that. Rick Richie, you should be careful with that. Be careful. Start to pay attention. I mean, beyond what your normal thought process is, start to pay attention beyond that, right? To where your normal thought process would normally not go. I take these opportunities to do exactly that. What have I not been thinking about? What have I not been considering? Why? Why would I normally not think like this person? Wait a minute. Let me actually go look at what they're looking at. Let me go do that research. Why? Because you might just find a pearl. You took the class. Sometimes you find pearls in the weirdest places. That's why. Yo, Enrique, thank you for letting me know you're investing in yourself. I saw Bitcoin going from 12K to 4K to 22K, like too fast to think. But you were doing your own research to figure out what you wanted to do. And yeah, some of these moves are way too fast. Remember I told you guys a few weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I'm repositioning my portfolio. I'm looking at my portfolio again. I'm redetermining what my slots are going to be. This is why. This is why. Now, here's something that's been crossing my mind for a while as we continue looking at the war, right? Nobody thinks that the United States should have done anything. And he's acting on his own. So because of that, I think you're going to catch a lot of people that are going to tell him to go take many a seat. I think there's going to wind up being a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Now, remove yourself from that. When you're taking that broad look, then say to yourself, wait a minute, what would that pressure be? It's going to be economic pressure. What's the benefit of the United States getting into a war? Misdirection. Tariff, tax bill, tariff, tax bill, tariff, tax bill. Oh, war. Now nobody's going to be thinking about the tax bill. And those meetings have been happening in the middle of the night when nobody's looking. People are asleep. That's what's been going on. Did you do research on that tax bill? You not realize that one of the things in the current, big BM of a bill is the ability for the Treasury Secretary to deem a not-for-profit organization as a terrorist organization. And you start to realize that, Eddie, that's political, until you stop to think about all of the organizations that are apolitical, that are doing things that can actually affect your bag. You're going to have because it's not, only these organizations. No, it's any not-for-profit that could deem them as a terrorist organization, thusly cutting out any kind of government money they can get, but that would also make it so that they couldn't even get external money. Are you seeing how this works? Unions, there are all kinds of organizations that would be affected, that could wind up on that list, and then somebody just say, oh, they're a terrorist group. Affects your bag. And it wouldn't just be this Treasury Secretary, it'd be anybody in that position would be able to do that. Hidden within that big BM of a bill are, all kinds of things that are masquerading as economic decision making, but have zero to do with economics. Now you know why there are a lot of people, both sides of the aisle in the United States, that are saying that bill is trash. Start thinking. Big money, big donors, big people are going to start looking at this guy and saying, oh, that was a mistake. Thought you could control them, did you? Take your mind off of these things by doing this. And there you go. The tariff stuff isn't done yet. What, we got 1.5 deals done? If that. I mean, really signed on the dotted line deals, like deals. Name one deal that came across that actually sent the market like up. Name one. Yeah. Then you start to realize, holy moly. So now we've got a war that's going to tank the markets, and tariff talk has already started tanking the markets. They exacerbate each other, and then you have the big BM of a bill. Mass deportations, the putting of government troops, federal troops on civilian soil, our soil. That's going to affect our bags. Fourth largest economy in the world, not in the United States, in the world, is California. Yeah. So when it comes to planning and thinking about how you're going to manage your bags and everything else, you've got to think about macro events that could affect your bags. Also, on top of that, you've got to think about the micro events that could affect your bags. There's a lot. Bitcoin's not money, so you're already wrong. The question is, will Iran hit U.S. assets? They don't have to hit U.S. assets. They could hit Iraqi assets. They could hit that straight. That's not a U.S. asset. It's not about hitting U.S. assets. It's about hitting assets that could affect any country. And what, 20 to 30% of the world's oil travel through the state? Oh, that's a problem. That's a massive problem. I'm not answering stupid questions. Don't press me today. Today is not the day. Go look up money. Bitcoin is not money. No matter what you might think it is, Bitcoin is not money. There's a difference. You go look up what money is. Thoughts on Circle. I've said what my thoughts are on Circle previously. And right now, crypto stocks, I don't know about crypto stocks. I think crypto stocks are going to take a hit because of everything that's going on. Circle may not, but Circle doesn't impress me in terms of everything that's going on. I think Circle is a lot of hype because now people that didn't want to touch crypto directly can now touch the stock. Nothing wrong with that way of thinking, but it kind of bubbles Circle to me, right? In my tiny little pea brain, that's how I see it. Rick Ritchie, I agree. I agree with that. But when I'm thinking about crypto stocks, I'm not thinking about crypto stocks. I'm thinking about war stocks. I'm thinking about stocks that make money because of war. That's all I'm thinking about right now. And now, because of 4 people from big tech being sworn in as one step below general, Yeah, go look that up. One step below general. It makes me wonder about those 4 companies. So yeah, those companies could possibly be benefiting from war. Something to think about. You're talking to the group as devil's advocate. Totally understand what you're doing, but you need to word your things better. You need to stop and think about how you say things. How you say things matter. So reword some of the things that you said. War is a money printer for who? It's not a money printer for everybody. Stop being so general about things. Stop being so, this is what it is. No. It's a money printer for who? And something else for you to understand. What kind of war? Which wars have been money printers and for who? Follow? Can be a money printer for those involved, those that can make money from it. Palantir, Meta. Look at the 4 companies that just got sworn in. Or the 4 people. Look at the companies that they actually work for being sworn in. 1 step below general. There's 16 steps before that. So yeah, so next to Raytheon, I'm going to be looking at Palantir. I'm going to be looking at certain companies. I'm going to be looking at anything that Peter Thiel has touched. Go look up Peter Thiel, and then you'll see what the story is. Yep. Lieutenant, I told you I'm not in the mood today. Don't be stupid today. That's not going to be a smart thing to do. So put you on a screen, go get your own. Or are you inviting me to a debate? Sure you want to do that? I went to a school and that's all we did. You sure you want to do that? Or are you saying, hey, let's have a conversation between the 2 of us breaking down some things? That could be interesting. It seems like a lot of negative in the group today. I pray everybody will have a good day after the live. I think everybody's going to have a good day. And for me, it's not negative. For me, it's just a matter of please stop and think. Right? I'm giving you things that are saying, oh, wait a minute. These 4 companies just had their 4 technology people just get sworn in. Why? Oh, well, those companies are probably going to do really well during this whole thing. And do you think that phone calls were made and, today and said, hey, we're going to swear you in today? Or was it already planned out? That'll make you stop and think. Palantir, well, their co-founder and CEO was already out there trying to say, no, what they said about us isn't true, blah, blah, blah. And after he did a couple of interviews, he was told to shut the heck up, and he did. We're not doing that. No, you're not creating that database? Oh, okay. But then what else are you doing? Because your guy was just sworn in too. So when it comes to protecting my bag and growing my bag, I'm going to be looking at those companies because those companies are going to do well during this whole event. Facts. That's why I was asking the question. Hutanek's not absolutely wrong. There's nothing absolute. By the way, I don't believe in absolutes. But he's not absolutely wrong because during World War I, World War II, it was a money printer. Certain wars, it was a money printer. Other wars, not so much. So what wars? What I'm saying is, what were the common goals of those wars, of that group of wars, that everybody, there was a money printer, and who was a money printer for? We've got better technology now, so we can actually look at things, and we can actually perform that analysis, and we can each go, oh, it was this. I'm going to go invest in that for right now. And then when I think everything's kind of hit here, I'm going to take my money that I made from this, and I'm going to put it in this. That's why I keep telling you guys, it's about this whole thing is about investing. And there are different vehicles that you're going to use for investing. Crypto, stock market, business. Whether you're buying, selling, partnering, investing in a business. So right now, bad times ahead, there's, something goes down, something is definitely going to go up. So while all of this is going down, what's going to go up? We've identified gold. I wonder what other precious metals would also go up. What's been I haven't done the history research yet on will platinum, will cobalt, will any of these things, will they go up? Will any of these other precious items go up? You start thinking about those things and you start going, oh, I can be stressed and worried about the war at the same time I can be doing research on how to grow my bag. How to minimize the risk. That's what I'm looking at. And you're thinking the feds. That's too, Rick Ritchie, that's too broad, man. How do the feds make money? Because you're not talking about the Fed, right? It's not the government. It's people in government, right? That make the money. And how do they make the money? Insider information, 1. 2, donations. Who's donating? So who stands to make money during this particular time because of these particular events? And you track back and you go, I can do this guy, I can do this one, I can do this one, I can do this one, blah, blah, blah. And you can make a list of where you can put your money, where you think it could actually go up. An example was given a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half. Who's had it? Correct me. A week and a half, 2 weeks ago. You were like, hey, are you looking at Raytheon? Because remember I asked you, I don't know what that one is. Can you please tell us what that is? Yeah, and somebody said, it's Raytheon. I wasn't asking to be funny. I was asking so that people understood. I didn't want people to look at the ticker symbol and go looking on Coin Market Cap because that's not where it is. I want them to pay attention to these things. By funding both sides of wars like it did in the past, and I meant the federal banks. What federal banks? All the banks involved with the Federal Reserve? That's not how they make money. And they're all going to be scrambling to try to figure out, how do I manage risk? And all of a sudden my office smells really good because this guy got a bath and he's all perfumed up. So, not saying you're wrong, I just don't think that they make money like that. And I think they're managing risk at the moment. I'm not even worried about that. That to me is not the war machine. Raytheon is the war machine. Like, I'm looking at all those companies that are involved in that space. That to me, that would be the war machine. So let me go invest in that for a little while. How long is it going to last? I don't know that they have a plan for that. All I'm thinking is war is taking everybody's mind off of the big BM of a bill and tariffs, which are both going to hit ridiculously hard. Because it's this quarter that you're seeing everything actually take place. Minimum, companies are saying we're minimum 50% of what we're going to pay in tariffs, we're going to pass along to everybody else. Oops. Lieutenant, sometimes you've got to have enough common sense to say, somebody said humor is not cutting it today, don't do it, and then actually be smart enough to say, okay, I'm not going to do that. There are only but so many times somebody's going to take that. There's got to be a point where you go, yeah, it's not really the time to do that. This is a serious time for a lot of people. People are already running around scared because of deportations and things like that. Mind you, some people that have been picked up have been U.S. citizens and still had to rot in a cell for a little while before they said, okay, you can go now. Being picked up by people wearing masks. In New York, you're wearing a mask, a group of people are wearing a mask. That's an immediate shootout. Why? Oh, because, I don't know, you're wearing a mask. That's not boding well for a lot of people, and not just people that should be deported. So the country's already on edge, and war. Yeah, Rick Ritchie, yeah, don't poke the bear. You want to talk to me about something that has to do with money, about what's going on this week? Yeah, sure. Pick out any kind of regulatory development and legislation, market trends and volatility, institutional corporate moves, technological innovations and projects, security and crime. Big problem. 16 billion accounts have been compromised. 16 billion accounts have been compromised. We were on air and we saw coin market cap get compromised. For all those people, I hope you're not dumb enough to actually use the same password in several different places, because literally. So I'm running, got pawned or get pawned. I'm looking at, there's a tool by Google that you can use as well to see if your information, your email address at least was compromised. But there are things out there that are not going to enable you to understand whether or not you've been compromised. I just take it for granted that I've already been compromised. So I showed you guys what I would tell somebody to do. We saw a MetaMask pop up. I went to my plugins and I turned off MetaMask. Because I wanted to show people what I would do if I saw that. I also showed you that I did not click anything saying MetaMask has a tool that's going to stop you from that. Yeah, I immediately said, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. Because you're probably going after MetaMask. I didn't log into my MetaMask account. Test account, doesn't matter, but still, I didn't log into it. I turned it off and I got rid of that screen and I opened up another screen. You saw me sit there and do a little bit of quick research. Oh, okay. I've never heard of GitHub.io, but it actually is real. I was just like, oh, still does not look good. So I take it for granted that my credentials are out there. I turn on two-factor authentication for everything. And I change my password a lot. These are the things that we're going to have to do in addition to doing all this stuff. Nah, Rick Ritchie, you got it wrong. You can piss me off. I don't mind being pissed off. But don't think that I'm not going to say how I feel. It's a safe space. I'm still going to tell you how I feel about it. That's fine. That's totally fine. But yeah, have a good day anyway. I just understand that there are people here that might not take it well. Because if there's one person that doesn't take it well, they're representative of a whole bunch of people that aren't going to necessarily take something well. So we can agree to disagree on different points for different reasons, have a debate about it. That's fine, right? But if you just keep going on something when somebody tells you stop, just saying. Do you think there is any connection between Justin Sun and Iranian exchange that was hacked? That's way out of my league of thought process. What's your outlook on XRP? I'm a new investor, down 30K, and wondering if it generally take a while for. So I tell you guys all the time, and you're not new, so you've heard me say it before. There are three things: do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Over the past week, 2 weeks, I've been, every now and then I'll stop and I'll go through the top X number of coins. It was one day I did Hutanic again, Paula again, correct me if I'm wrong. I went through like 50 different coins where I said how I felt about that coin. Didn't give advice, just told you how I felt about a given coin. Right? Just saying, got to pay attention to certain things. Hutanic, be nice, safe space. People allowed to panic if they want to. We're just trying to give them tools to not panic. Doing your own research will help you not panic. Honest and true. Doing your own research will help you not panic. Knowing your entries and exits. Do what Hutanic said. Remove emotion. Hard to do, but you can do it. Remove emotion. Look at things a tad bit differently. Debate with people that have different views, because you might find a pearl. But how I feel about certain coins, do I think XRP is okay? Sure. But that's not gonna make me move any differently from what I told you my plan was. I told you I prioritized my portfolio on what I would ditch first, second, third, fourth. I prioritized that whole list, right? And why did I do that? Because I know that I'm going to be looking at a big drop. So if I believe in my risk framework that I can see a big drop, my risk framework tells me, well, if you're seeing this, do that. No emotion, no nothing. I've been doing my own research. I know my entries and exits. I know how to absolutely invest deliberately. So my risk matrix says, if this, then that. That's what you should be doing with each one of your portfolios. And like Hutanic said, don't panic. Let your research and math help you figure it out. It's not a loss until it's a loss. No, let's say it more in English. It's not a loss until you realize the loss. It's not a gain until you realize the gain. What do we mean by that? If this particular asset goes down, you're not going to realize that loss until you sell that asset. If this particular asset goes up, you're not going to realize the gain on that asset until you sell that asset. So it's not a loss until you realize it. It's not a gain until you realize it. Realization is deemed as the selling of or trading of. So my plan is, if I have $100, the value of something I have is 100, actually even better. What I own is 100 of something, and I sell it now and it tanks. That 100 of something at this level, right? I sold, and then it comes down to here, and I can buy back in, and I can get in, and I can get 101 of that thing for that same money, and it goes back up. I've now made money, right? That's the idea. That's the idea. So I'm paying attention to certain things. I'm not here to tell you, do this, do that. I'm here to tell you, hey, the only thing I'm going to tell you to do is definitely do the GMB3. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That means don't guess. That means don't make a move because you're panicked, you're scared, you're angry, you're pissed off. Don't do that. That will most likely wind up being the wrong thing to do. Just saying. Anytime somebody here mentions a coin like USDM, go look it up first. Just saying. Hutanic, that other comment, this is all designed to scare you into profits for them. A little too up here. Not enough fact behind it. You know what I mean? Like conspiracy theory stuff. I mean, I agree. But I need to give people something more tangible. Something that they can understand how to take action on. I don't want to give you things and thought processes that are up here. I want to give you something that's actionable. So he's absolutely right when he tells you, don't panic. Don't do things out of anger. Don't do things that are going to make you react in a way that if you had your thinking cap on, you probably wouldn't have done that. So who was it? Was it LAG? Was it you that corrected me? I was saying, well, tomorrow morning when the Asian markets open up, and he was like, no, you mean tonight, right? And he's at things like that. He's like, yes, it's tonight. If you're in the United States, Asian markets open up tonight. Yo, what's up, Cuzzo? My Cuzzo says, do your own research and know your personal risk tolerance. This is one of many roller coaster rides to come. Oh, Cuzzo with some actionable stuff right there. Thank you, Cuzzo. Last week, I moved 10% of Cardano to USDM on ADA. Just bought back in and claimed a lot more ADA. That is the idea. I want you to go read that statement by Hutanic. On screen, he's called Perspicacious. All right? Go read that statement. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm saying I'm going to sell some stuff, have sold some stuff, and then when things cool off, I'll buy back in. But I'm not just selling stuff and waiting to go buy back in. I'm selling stuff and putting those assets, that value, someplace else where I think it'll grow. When something goes down, there's going to be something else that's going up. It's our job to find them, right? So I threw out a couple of ideas. We're at war. Who usually makes money during war? Companies that produce things for war. So I'm shifting value, right? This elevator is going down, this elevator is going up. When they pass, I'm shifting money so that my money goes back up. And while it's sitting there and this elevator starts coming down, or I can start to see things pop it off when I think we've hit that bottom, that's when I'm going to take some of that money, not all of it. I'll take some of that money and I'll start buying in. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I'll take some of that dry powder that I have, that I've been making off of those trading off of volatility moves that I was doing. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And you kind of go, why would you do that? Oh, you sprinkle in because you don't want to do things in big chunks. You might miss out on something. And you want to be prepared because let's suppose I think this is it. And I dump my whole load and then it goes like that. Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? Somebody might say, well, what happens if that was it? And it goes like this. I'm sprinkling in as it goes back up. I don't see as much profit, but I diminish the amount of risk that I'm taking. And remember, where am I moving that money from? I'm moving that money from someplace that made me money, that increased my value. I'm looking to get off of things that are decreasing in value, looking to get into things that are increasing in value. So I might move some of my money away from crypto and into certain stocks. I might move my money away from crypto and into precious metals, specifically gold. I might take my money and move it out of the US dollar, put it into a stable coin. Not a lot of it. Let's not get it twisted. Not a lot of it. Now people are going, well, why not? Well, because it's based on fiat, and that fiat could take pain, could feel pain. I'm not into pain. I'm into growing my bag. So yes, will I have some that are tied up in like Tether just so I can make another move? Sure. But I'm probably going to put a lot of money into certain stocks and to PAX G. Why? Because it's actionable. I can make certain moves. And am I doing the math on what I'm putting my value into? Yes. Do I think that this could double in this time frame? Possibly. Do I think that this could double in that time frame or go by X percentage? Maybe. But I'm doing both. Cuzzo says diversification is key. It is. Let me put all my eggs in one basket. My whole freaking family comes smack me in the back of the head. I'll wake up with a concussion if I wake up. Never put your eggs all in one basket. So there's that. Now, some people like Rick Ritchie said, "Well, hey, I'm gonna log off right now because I might say something that'll piss you off." Cool. I wish you'd have stayed. But at some point, you're gonna disagree with people that you actually like. That's why you manage your bags. I manage my bags. We all manage our own bags because we each, whether we realize it or not, have our own risk framework. Whether you realize it or not, I know what my risk framework is. A lot of people don't know what their risk framework is. Hutanic, define risk on and risk off, please. I know you want to slap me in the back of the head. A lot of people don't understand the terms risk on and risk off. That's why I'm asking you to do it. And Bitcoin and gold are risk off to me. Cardano is risk on. That was his statement. That's what drove me to ask him. Please define that. If you notice, I go to certain people because I know that they've done certain research on things, and I know that they will come back with no. Give me more on what risk off is, what risk on is. Because they're both bets. And at any point in time, they can both be safety. Give me something more to go on. Cuzzo, can you, if you don't mind? I want you to pay attention to these things because there are a lot of terms that are out there that people use that you might not understand. Risk on, risk off are terms that myself, Hutanic, others that have been in the game for a long time or come from certain industries are going to understand. And we're also going to understand that something that is risk off today might not be risk off tomorrow. So there's that. I mean, he's not wrong in what he said. I just wanted it to be a little bit more easy to understand. Right? He's saying risk on are bets. Okay? So I'm trying not to give I'm trying to have the community respond to the community instead of me giving the answer. That's what I'm really trying to do. Right? Because the more of us that actually help each other, then we feel a little bit more comfortable asking questions. Right? And that's really what we're looking for. Dollars are smoking. That's an opinion, Hutanic. That's an opinion. I'm not going to repeat it. That's an opinion. The last question is, what is money? Go look that up. I'm willing to bet you might actually get the answer wrong. And what actually is money? Most of us will get the answer wrong. Dead serious. So yeah, go do your own research on what money is. There's a single definition. But most of us will get it wrong. Bitcoin is not money. No matter what somebody says, Bitcoin is not money. Most important, what? For what? Does money have to be fungible? Is money fungible? No, I'm not trying to be funny. I realized that I had to say that because Hutanic might have thought I was trying to be a prick. No, I'm not. It's me telling everybody, please go do your own research. His point is true. I should have led with that. But I want you to go understand why it's true. And why that is important. Risk on equals I'm optimistic in the market, willing to have a higher risk tolerance. Risk off equals more conservative, safer investments. That is the actual answer. Thank you, Cuzzo. Yeah, for all of you people that don't know, that actually is my Cuzzo. Virgilio. Virgilio? No. No, not at all. It means things are shifting. That's all it means. I once gave you guys, a suggestion to go check out Ray Dalio. And he describes to you the arc of fiat and the strength of the top fiat, right? And he explains it to you and gives it to you in simple terms about that. Go look up Ray Dalio and about that. It's huge. It's huge. Huge, huge. Ray Dalio is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Why I say is remarkable. This is a man who is the founder of Bridgewater Associates, who has taken his wealth of knowledge and put it into terms that are so simple that my teenagers can understand it, and even in some cases, other people's younger kids could understand it. There's a fly in here. No, it's not a fly. It's a gnat. It's annoying. So yeah, this guy, he breaks things down in such a way, and he's got cartoons for certain things. So the rise and fall of the dominant global fiat is, one of the things that he made a cartoon of. He made an animation of. And it's like, whoa. Holy moly. And you start to realize, holy moly, this guy really knows his stuff. Yes, he does. He's one of the richest people on the planet. But how he breaks everything down, that's the class. That is the class. He's written books about it, the whole nine. But go research that about him. He gives it to you in a very easily consumable method, an easily consumable manner for you to understand what money is and the rise and fall of money, right? Because while this one is going up, others are going down. While this one's going down, others are coming up. And he shows it to you in such a way that you sit there and you kind of go, holy moly, how did I miss that? I say this to you because there are so many people out there, when you watch the talking heads on, Fox Business and, even me sometimes, and CNBC and just all these places, they're using terms that they're used to all the time. And it's easy for them, and yet they don't realize that they become a part of the machine that's confusing people. And Ray Dalio recognized that and came back and said, I'm going to break this down so the ordinary person can understand it. Yeah. I would strongly. He's come out with a book. Excuse me. I think it's been published already. If it hasn't, here's the beauty of what Ray Dalio is doing. He's releasing each chapter of his book as a PDF. So you can either wait and buy the book or just go download the PDF. You can watch his channels and go see the animations that he's had. Believe me when I tell you, you will learn so much. One of the best I keep saying the word cartoon. It's not, because it's not meant to be funny. It's one of the best animations he has, and obviously voiceover, is not just telling you about the rise and fall of money, but how money is used. What things happen. And I sit there in amazement every time I look at it, because I look at it all the time. So when I say go do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately, I'm saying to you, it's not hard. It's not hard. Don't feel like you're going to be overwhelmed. Go watch this guy. He's explaining to you in a way that is so consumable that you're going to pick it up. And if you don't pick it up, still don't beat yourself up. Have questions. There's a whole community here that's more than willing to answer questions. But it's one of those, it's not what you say, it's how you say it sometimes. But really good at figuring out, somebody's trying to shill a coin versus somebody's asking a stupid question that they already know the answer to, versus this person is dead serious. They want to understand something. Somebody asked me earlier how I feel about XRP. What I was telling is go do some research and you'll go see. Even over the past week, I went over what I like. XRP is one of them that I like. I try not to give you the answer that you can go research quickly. But this person that asked me the question also said something else. And what he said is I've lost $30,000. Which let me know that, okay, this person's got a deer in the headlights problem. There's a little bit of hesitation, but they're not running away. They just have some hesitation. How do I feel about something? And I wanted to take the time to give them enough time to actually go research it, right? I still like XRP. I still like a lot of the coins that I said I like. It's just that we've been hit with a macro event that's forcing me to kick in my risk mitigation plan, which I've shared with you 50 million times, even on this video. So, yeah, I know this is an exaggeration, but you get what I mean. So, yeah. Do I like XRP? Yes, I do. Am I buying XRP right now? No. Do I think I might sell XRP? Highly possible. Why? Because the market's going to take a dive, and I'm going to cut my losses, put my money in someplace where it's going to go up, be safe or safer, and wait for the market to start come back up, and I will sprinkle back into the market. But it's a way for me to preserve what I've got right now. One of the things that I look at are meme coins are going to take the first hit. in my humble opinion. This is what it is. But go do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Right now, Bitcoin is at 99,501. Just a little while ago, it was at 98 and change, 98,949. And right now, it's at 99,489. It's going like this, but it seems to be going like this in that direction. We are below 100,000. When the Asian market wakes up, they're going to realize that there's a whole big war going on. They're going to be thinking about oil. They're going to be thinking about a whole lot of things. I think that's going to suck the air out of the room for crypto and put it someplace else. What? I don't mean up 100% in a week. Did I actually say that? I don't think that's what I said. I could have, but that's not what I meant. What I'm saying is, we've already been down over like what, 30 days. It's saying, I think this is wrong, because we were at 109 not that long ago. So I mean, 10,000. That's about a 10% drop. So, well, 11,000 make it about a 10% drop. So hitting 98, that's like a 10% drop from 109, right? Is it going to go up 100%? No, that's not what I mean. You sure? I'm pretty sure that's not what I said. So maybe you're getting confused, conflating a couple of topics, maybe. That's definitely, if I said that, that's definitely not what I meant. What I mean is, I saw a 10% drop. It's not the percentage of the drop that bothers me right now. It's why there's a drop. So we're already down 10%. So if we're already down 10% and not all the markets have heard about it, I think there's going to be another drop. And to me, I think it'll be sustained. Will it be sustained over the course of the next week, 2 weeks? Highly possible. This is going to be dragged out. Again, war takes my mind, or takes other people's minds, off of the big BM of a bill and tariff negotiations that have gone nowhere except to cost the U.S. taxpayer money, as well as hurt other countries. Then, Hutanik, I have no idea what you mean. You're asking a question. You're saying then I'm lost in your statements, bud. You're saying, what do you mean by dive if it goes down 10% and up 100% in a week? Iran is not going to hit the U.S. Iran is going to hit assets that the world depends on. Do I think that they're going to be dumb enough to hit U.S. troops in the Middle East? That would not be good. In no way would that be good. I think that would be a catastrophe. Because you're dealing with a current regime that would just send troops? No. They would just send a lot more bombs and not care about where they hit. We already have a country that started it all that has already proven that they're willing to do that. And it caused a little bit of economic turmoil. But imagine if you get the United States doing something like that. So, whoa. So do I think that they'll hit the United States? Not really, not directly. Let one troop get hurt. That's not going to bode well. That's not going to bode well. And that's not me bragging about the power of the United States. That's just facts. That's just facts. So, yeah, nah. Yep. You should have led with that, because everything else that you said was not discernible. But who Tanik is saying is there will be signs. The signs are already here. So there's definitely more to go. Look at how far we've gone down. So how Bitcoin has gone down so far. And imagine when the Asian markets wake up. And then right after the Asian markets wake up, then the U.S. markets wake up. And then what happens? Yikers. So yeah. Paying attention to certain things. Yeesh. There's a lot going on. And normally the Sunday Roundup is about what's happened over the past week. We didn't get to it all. That's why every now and then I was rattling off the list of stuff. None of that compares to, in its entirety, none of that compares to war. And there are going to be political ramifications from that. There are going to be monetary ramifications from that at a global scale. Yeah, we're going to have to see how that plays out. I don't think it's going to play out favorably for the current regime. So we got a long way to go before I think we hit a bottom. Anyway, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. Tell your friends about this channel. This is a channel that cares about what you learn, how you learn, and growing your bags. This is not an upmarket channel, as they're called, right? This is a channel that cares about what's going on when the market's going up and what's going on when the market's going down. And we're trying to, all of us as a group, understand how to do the research so that we have a better idea on how to manage our bags respectively. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I'm not right all the time, and I know I'm not right all the time, but I'm trying my best. And I'm not going to lie to you. I might be wrong, but I'm never going to lie to you. All right? Everybody, thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye. Hutanik, I know you don't mean to be an ass. Shut up, man. Get out of here. Go stand in a corner or something.